Froggy the Gator, Mr. Hummus, and Wormbird were in the middle of an important activity. You see, over the years, Froggy the Gator had amassed quite the collection of Legos. He had all types of Legos, big and small Legos, every piece you can think of. He had different collections of all sorts of Legos. And today, the boys were using those Legos to build something the likes of which the world had never seen before. What were they building? Why, they were building a rocket ship. They were building a rocket ship out of Legos, loaded with enough supplies to build an entire space station in outer space. They'd been at it for hours, and their design was finally nearing completion. "Houston," Froggy the Gator said into his pretend walkie-talkie, "we are ready for liftoff. Operation Lego Space Station is a go. T-minus 10 seconds to ignition." Wormbird responded from the pretend control tower. "Everything clear from this end, team," he said. "We are a go for launch at your command." And after a few seconds of anticipation, their Lego rocket ship space station took off. It must have been made of 1,000 Lego pieces. The boys had spent all afternoon creating and crafting the design, and now, in their minds, it was on its way to outer space, to complete its purpose of building a space station where astronauts could live. But then, also in their minds, something went wrong. As they imagined the rocket ship igniting and taking off into outer space, something horrible happened. The rocket ship was about 30 feet in the air when it got stuck in the big oak tree in Froggy's backyard. "How could we have missed so badly on our calculations?" Froggy said in frustration. "Our hard work is now in jeopardy." The boys looked up at the mighty oak tree. They saw their rocket ship there tangled in the branches, and they imagined the rocket thrusters futilely trying to ignite and push the rocket out to no avail. All of their building supplies for their beautiful space station were now stuck in the tree as well. This was truly a difficult situation. "What are we gonna do, guys?" Mr. Hummus said. "We have to figure out a way to get our rocket ship unstuck so it can get to outer space." And after a few seconds, just when everything seemed hopeless, Froggy the Gator had an idea. "Wait a minute, guys. I got it." And then, without saying another word, Froggy the Gator started building. First, he grabbed every red Lego he could find. Then, he grabbed every wheel Lego he could find. He grabbed every chrome Lego, and he quickly dashed around the sprawling pile of Legos scattered about the backyard like a virtuoso conductor collecting the pieces he needed. Mr. Hummus and Wormbird looked on in awe as Froggy continued to build. He went into a trance-like state, building as if the fate of the very world depended on his dexterity and his acuity. Then, after a few minutes of frenzied building, Froggy the Gator stepped back. "Voila," he said, and Mr. Hummus and Wormbird could not believe what they saw. There, sitting right before them, expertly constructed by Froggy the Gator in a matter of seconds, stood a magnificent, gleaming, fully functioning, candy apple red Firetruck. It was a marvel of engineering. Its vibrant scarlet bricks snapped together with the utmost care and complete with chrome plastic axles, flashing lights on top, and a real-life working water hose spooled up in its flank. It even had a functioning extending ladder, ready to extend high up into the oak tree and rescue the boys' space station rocket ship. "Amazing," Mr. Hummus said as he admired the Firetruck. "This is just like the real thing. In fact, it's better than the real thing. This is the best fire truck I've ever seen." "Thanks, Mr. Hummus," Froggy the Gator said, "and it's also just what we need to retrieve our rocket ship from the giant oak tree that nearly swallowed it whole. Come on, guys, it's time to be firemen." And with that, the boys put on their imaginary fire hats and slid down their imaginary fire pole, courtesy of the jungle gym in Froggy's backyard that Daddy the Gator had built several years before, and then they ran toward the engine. Once they got inside the fire truck, Froggy started driving. He turned on the lights and the siren, and Mr. Hummus and Wormbird held on to the side of the fire truck, and they drove through imaginary streets, weaving through imaginary traffic, and after a few minutes of daring fire truck maneuvers, they'd reached the base of the towering oak tree. "Come on, fellas, we gotta act fast," Froggy the Gator said. So they extended the extending ladder and ramped it up toward the rocket ship at the top of the tree. "It's gonna take all three of us to get this thing loose," Froggy said. "Wormbird, you use your dragonfly wings to fly alongside me and Mr. Hummus while we climb the ladder. Then, when we all reach the space station rocket ship, we'll dislodge it and we'll carry it back down." And that's exactly what they did. The boys expertly took one mighty step after the other up the Lego fire truck extending ladder until they'd reached the space station stuck in the oak tree. After a few minutes of careful wrangling, they managed to get it back down to the ground. "Outstanding," Mr. Hummus said, as they stared at their Lego space station rocket ship that they'd rescued with their Lego fire truck. "It's not even too worse for the wear," said Wormbird. "I think we could still get this thing into outer space before dinner." So the boys huddled together and did a second launch. This time, they moved far away from the oak tree. And after the countdown, the Lego rocket ship launched successfully into the atmosphere. All on board made it safely to orbit, where they could begin construction on their awesome space station and house their families for generations as our species explored the universe. "What a day, fellas," Froggy the Gator said. "Thank you for all of your hard work." And with that, the friends put back on their fireman hats, they got back into their Lego fire truck, and did the pretend drive home to Froggy's house, where Froggy's mother had made tacos, and they went inside to eat. Thank you all so much for listening to Froggy the Gator. This is Harrison. I am the creator of Froggy the Gator, and I just wanted to take a minute to extend my gratitude for you all being here, as well as ask a huge personal favor. If you enjoy Froggy the Gator and you want to help the show grow, make sure that you're following us on your podcast app of choice, and make sure that you leave us a rating and a review. And if you're a kid listening to this, of course, make sure you get your parents' permission first. Thank you, everyone. We'll be back with more Froggy the Gator adventures soon.